You alright, guys? Welcome to the stream. Just give me 2 seconds whilst I send out the links, and then we can get straight into it. Alright, links are out. So, yeah, we'll get into an update. So we'll start fresh. Obviously, it's a fresh new week. Um, Beautiful. Okay, so yeah, welcome. Fresh new week. Um, got a little bit of data coming out this week. Okay, US GDP, EU CPI, some jobless claims, and core PCE prices. Okay, that's towards kind of the second half of the week. So relatively clear to begin off. Yesterday we got a little bit of price action. Okay, we're getting a little bit of price action again today. We did send out some long positions, however, we didn't close them just because of the way the dollar is looking. Okay, it's looking quite strong still. Uh, it's holding on to its support, as you can see here. We're holding. Yesterday, as it opened, left a gap beneath. We got a push up, came back down, filled it, came to that support that we spoke about in the previous update and live stream, and now we're holding. So at the moment, we're still holding on to some nice structure. So there's still, I mean, by what you can see, you got a bit more of a probability of things to actually start to push up again. Okay, so yeah, things are a little bit all over the place. Structures being built up, so yeah, I presume this is just going to continue moving up and down. Um, Even I mean, Bitcoin's holding on to some nice structure as well, and that's your trend line. We've still got that range sort of building up as well. Okay, we're at the top and we're continuing to test the top. Seeing a little bit of buy side coming in, nothing too hectic. So yeah, could very much either get a break up or come right down. So yeah, we'll see. We're going to potentially see a move this week. Just from the structure, I mean, it's Monday, it's the first day. We've still got a full week to go ahead, and we're quite developed into that structure. So yeah, just be careful. I mean, until we close above this kind of level of resistance, or this key level of resistance, yeah, bear in mind we could definitely be getting a fake out on the top, an overextension, nice wick on the top, and the supply kind of comes in, and then things start to turn around, start to dump. So yeah, I mean, by the looks of the dollar as well, the dollar's continuing to hold. So ideally, we want it to be pushing beneath this level, beneath this trend line. Um, yeah, it is holding on to some nice structure. Yeah, so we could actually see also a short. This is a key week. Obviously, this is the final week of the month as well. I mean, it kind of does it overlap? I think it does. Overlap a little bit to next week. Okay, so we got a few days still in February next week, but yeah, this is the final full week of the month. Okay, so yeah, that's crypto anyway. Got the dollar, Bitcoin, so crypto market cap. I mean, still above 1 trillion. Bitcoin dominance also pushing up higher. Yeah, so things aren't. I mean, Bitcoin's going to move more. The altcoins, there's going to be some that do move quite heavily, but relatively speaking, um, the overall market or the altcoin market shouldn't move too crazy. You want Bitcoin dominance kind of be moving down and Bitcoin moving up for the altcoins to really, really move as a whole. But yeah, okay. Let's go into the FX space. Da, 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 da. Right, let me. So we're roughly about an hour away from the New York Open. Um, Theodoros, you're a legend. Thank you for the coins. Amazing. Very much appreciated. That's actually the first set of coins that we've ever been sent. So yeah, amazing, mate. Thank you very much. Um, right. What I'm going to do, since we've still got a little bit of time before the New York Open opens up, I'm gonna get the economic calendar sorted and sent in. So at least we kind of know what sort of data we've got, and then I can go into the FX, um, equities and commodities update, and then yeah, I kind of know a little bit more as to what I should be looking at. So let me get the. Where is it? Okay, so 20 But yeah, guys, as always, feel free to message us anything in the chat, any ETA that you want us to go over. Hit us up. 20th, 21st. Da, da, da. 23rd, 24th. Bam, 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 bam. Okay, let's have a little look at the economic calendar. We'll talk through the economic calendar this week. Like I said at the beginning, yeah, PC, GDP, CPI, PMIs are also coming out. Home sales, yeah. Okay, so today, let's get it up. Okay, amazing. So we've got 21st. Okay, so I mean, you've got US and Canada's a holiday day today, so yeah, I presume we're not going to get insane volume. Where is it? Okay, so more on the FX side, but New Zealand's PPI figures get sent out today. So that's something to look at when we are potentially looking for some quick FX trades today. So we've got New Zealand PPI. Got Australian manufacturing. PMI. Australian services PMI. What else have we got here? Okay. Alright, so we got the RBA minutes meeting today as well. Okay, so that's about it. Later on, we also get Japanese services PMI, so maybe a little bit of movement in the Asia session later on. Okay, beautiful. So yeah, I mean, not crazy data coming out today. Like I said, it is the US's well, it's Washington's birthday apparently. So yeah, so we got a holiday here, and we also got a holiday in Canada, but the US is out. Okay, so tomorrow, France's manufacturing PMI. We get French services PPI. Sorry, PMI services PMI. Okay, so we also get German manufacturing. So yeah, I mean, this week we do get a decent amount of data. Okay, got EU's manufacturing PMIs. EU services PMI. Tomorrow is going to be a good day to trade FX. Going to be a lot of movement. Okay. Yeah, tomorrow we got a lot of data coming out. So so we got the French, German, EU manufacturing PMIs as well as services PMIs. We got the UK manufacturing services PMI as well. Canadian dollar, CPI, Canadian retail sales. We also get the US services PMI. Get some existing home sales. Yeah, tomorrow's going to be a nice day to trade. Got a lot of data coming out tomorrow. NZD interest rate. Yeah, so tomorrow is pretty packed. Wednesday's packed again. German CPI. Okay. Da, da, da. Ooh. So on Wednesday we get an FOMC meeting. Minutes. Okay. Okay. It's about it, really. Okay, so Thursday we get EU CPI. US no, CPI PCE. PCE as well as continuing jobless claims. US GDP. Okay. Okay, German GDP. And even on Friday we get German's GDP, French GDP, Spanish PPI, a lot of data. You get US core pro PC index, PC price index. Yeah, that is it. Okay, so we're sending in this economic calendar. All right, sent in, guys. It's all in there. Okay, so today we got a little bit of data, right? Uh, NZD. So nice level of support here. Could could see it break up. Yeah, just have a little look at keep Bitcoin up as well. All right. Not quite ready. Could get a short, maybe. See how it holds up. If it's able to hold that trend line, we do get some Australian data coming out, some manufacturing PMI, services PMI. So we could get it moved down. It's just building on some structure. We're at resistance, so we'll keep an eye on it. Could potentially get a nice entry. Relatively weak volume on this move up, so we'll see how well it holds onto this level. If it holds, start rejecting and holding onto that resistance, then we can potentially look at a short there. We had a look at this one. Let's have a look at this. Ooh. See how well it holds onto here. Could get a very quick rebound. Just get in and out. But relatively strong move to the downside on that one. Strong test off that 200. This level of support. A lot of these setups are all at some nice levels, in all fairness. Got some nice structure here on the pound yen. Excuse me. Wow. Okay. What's happening here? Da, 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 da. So we got the pound yen. Might move a little bit for us later on when Japan's services PMI comes out. This is looking weak. Some nice structure on this one as well. A bit more developed than the pound yen. Broken out of that range. If we hold this, well, come retest it as new support and hold it, we could actually see a very nice move to the upside. Yeah. So yeah, ideally we want it to hold around this level. Hold, and then move back up. Otherwise, move straight back into structure, and that's going to result in a much stronger move to the downside. relatively weak as well. Yeah. Da, da, da. Ba, 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 ba. Okay.
Sanjay, what about the outlook from money managers? What's changed?
Mm, mm, mm. Right, yeah. By the looks of it, everything's just setting up structure in the FX. Um, yeah, there isn't anything majorly standing out. Um, yeah, you gotta let him brew a little bit more and hold on to these levels of structure before making that move. Okay, yeah, let's have a little look at equities, dive into them, see kind of what's happening over here. S&P is broken through its trend line, coming in retesting. Now, the only thing to bear in mind, especially when you're drawing trend lines, are potential trap zones. Okay, so they make that first breach, but then they pull straight back in. So obviously, as it's been sticking to this trend line, it's only the first time that it's broken out. You could potentially still get a movement straight back into structure. Okay, and it's still considering kind of holding. Now, obviously, it has closed beneath this close here, so that's looking a little bit more bearish right now. So it could be the case that we just come, hold, and then we continue moving to the downside. Now, this kind of moves hand in hand with how the dollar index is moving. So it's still holding onto that positive structure here and trend line. So at this moment in time, I mean, the dollar has got quite a lot of decent potential to make that break to the upside here still. So it's still holding onto that structure. So it could definitely be looking at a little bit more weakness and downside. Even to potentially this sort of level here at this 200. Come down and at least test that. Nasdaq. I mean, still holding on to that trend line. Yeah, things are looking weak. Weak. Very weak. Would be an ideal test as well. Relatively healthy test for the Nasdaq if it comes down a little bit more. Coming test about 12,000 would be a nice test. Yeah, rebound off there, maybe push back up. So, I mean, if you're looking to trade equities, I mean, these are looking relatively weak. You could potentially see that break come and test this level. Um, yeah, it's had opportunity to obviously push up push up here, here, and here. Failed to do so. We're actually, this is kind of the same close. We could get that move down. Let's have a little look. Yeah, they're all holding on to resistance here. Right, let's have a little look at oil. Okay. Nice rebound off that level again, as spoken in a previous update. Okay, making that move towards kind of this level of previous support, now potentially turning into new resistance. Now there is quite a lot of kind of conflict going on, so I mean any escalations at all, this is going to start to move up. So yeah, going to build up on a little bit of structure, potentially come up here, test, come back down, see how sellers look. If sellers look weak, we get in to make that move to the upside, to at least 79.5, if not to the top there to 80.5. Nice quick trade, and then we'll just get out, and then we'll kind of just play the move. But this is a nice rebound, so we're just going to wait for a nice, I mean, we missed the entry there, so yeah, ideally we can get a nice push, test, hold, come back down, weak sell side, that'll be our go-to to get in long and play it to the top. So what we got, natural gas. Now last week I made a very, very large move to the downside. As you can see, we're holding on to that kind of level of support that we did touch on. So we could get a little bit of a rebound here maybe. I mean, it is looking extremely weak though. So you could get essentially a quick turnaround. Wouldn't be a bad test of this previous support. New resistance, that would be an amazing entry. And just play it down. Either there or even here. It's an even bad entry.
In Bangladesh, we found that young children were at such a high risk of drowning due to the proximity of water to home and the fact that their parents worked. To address the issue, Bloomberg Philanthropies
Yeah, we'll let it build a little bit of structure.
providing supervision for 50,000 children. The program has led to a more
Okay, so gold.
reduction in drowning.
So a nice rebound off the bottom here. Now last week we closed on a very nice gold trade. Okay, we got in on this rebound here. So it was very nice. See how it tests this 50. But yeah, could potentially start seeing a continuation. It has been on a downturn for quite a while, as you can see. Nice rebound off this previous structure here. So could get some nice positive structure being built. So push up here, test, come back down, hold, continue its move up. Obviously, we do have almost like a nice trend line that we can hold on to. So could potentially get that break. Maybe. So yeah, things are, by the looks of it, just setting up structure. It's nothing too shabby. So we'll just be patient, let things kind of build up, and give us some nice entries to enter on. Yeah, things are very slow. Not getting a crazy amount of movement. We got movement last night, so naturally today is going to be relatively quiet. Obviously, the US is on holiday, Canada's on holiday. Not that there's a whole load of volume that comes out of Canada, but yeah, obviously the main player, the US, is kind of out. So yeah, I don't see a crazy amount of opportunities. By the way, guys, those that are just joining us, welcome to the stream. Feel free to message us anything in the chat, any TA that you want us to go over, anything that you've got your eyes on. Feel free. Let's go over it together. But yeah, make yourselves at home. Yeah. So we're about, well, 37 minutes away from that New York Open. So see what we can get. I mean, since the US is on holiday, I don't see too much. But and by the way, guys, those that are liking the stream, thank you very much for the likes and the follows. Very much appreciated. Yeah, always a pleasure. Now, something that's worth discussing, okay, and kind of feeds into the dollar index's current structure, right? Is that CPI figure that came in last week? Was it last week? Yeah, it was. Markets were obviously expecting kind of it to continue to come down by decent amounts. Now it was basically relatively unchanged. It did come down, but very slightly. Even before that, non-farm payrolls extremely high. So now I mean, if you're watching the news, there's talks about a 0.5. Maybe the Fed has to come in at 0.5 from this data. And that's probably why we're feeding into the structure that we're seeing on the dollar. A little bit more weakness, especially on risk-on assets. You're looking at the equities that we already gone through, and you're starting to see them kind of build up on the top and start to kind of look very weak. Obviously, I mean, Bitcoin is a different beast in its own. But even so, I mean, a little bit of slowing down. Volume is very weak, even though we're moving up. So, yeah, could very much have a short on our hands. Again, we're at a key level of resistance on Bitcoin. It's key, like we have been saying from the past few updates. A daily close above this level, extremely bullish. You can play it all the way to the top. That range will be between 32 and 28k. But if it fails to close, and again, kind of just putting some emphasis on a daily candle close above this level is essential, because within the day you can go make a nice move, overextend, fake out to the top, and push straight back in. Where the daily candle will look will look like with a wick on the top and just completely dump straight back into structure. Okay, and start liquidating some of these longs. There's going to be a lot of retail long positions here, which just kind of opens up the opportunity for the big players to cash in. Okay, start liquidating. So just don't feed into it. Okay, ideally you want to have that daily candle close above this level. If not, you can very much get something like this happen over here, and just a complete dump on price. Yeah, I don't see a crazy amount of opportunities on crypto today. It's just very, very slow. Just moving up and down, fluctuating.
Refuel your rocket, and that way you don't have to actually bring all of your propellant with you,
Yeah,
which has been one of the biggest
just need to be very careful
comes to going into
with how you're playing
increase so much
things today.
just so you can make it back home. So we're sending the first
Now, mask.
spacecraft
Now, the structure of some of these altcoins literally look like they're about to absolutely explode. But we need we need everything to kind of follow suit. Now, mask is compressing. As you can see, we're holding onto this nice structure. So, could still potentially see a nice move to the upside here, okay? But the buyers kind of died off quite quickly. But this is one that you definitely want to keep on your cards, because if we start to ramp back up, it's really going to go. So some nice buy side there, still on structure.
for instance, having so-called space jumps, where you have spacecraft that remain in orbit and push your spacecraft
Could go here, could go here.
or take them to different areas that they need to go.
Yeah, this is definitely one that we've got our eyes on, that's for sure.
On the planet. Instead, we build it
FTM Phantom, again another one. Okay.
crazy origami when you
This is potentially where it could go to.
to living and working
Now,
on, I've been very
obviously we sent out the
program NASA's return
signal to go in long, okay, to buy on spot and to go on long. As it was kind of making this move up here and breaching through this accumulation range. Okay, obviously we got that very, very nice push up. Tested this previous level of support, broke through as new resistance here. And it's still on very, very, very nice structure, guys. Very nice structure. So it's come back down, retested this range, okay, very, very nicely, and saw a nice reaction back up. Now what we're getting on the lower time frame, and just bear in mind, look at this buy side volume on this rebound, crazy buy side, okay. This here, come back down and look at how it tested its previous structure here very nicely. Okay, the buyers are still looking relatively weak, but that's okay as long as the sellers look weaker as they come down. But yeah, this could be one that again goes for that next move or next leg up. And just, I mean, if we start breaking up, obviously we got this first level of resistance here, and then obviously the top that it formed on that huge move, and then you're looking at the move all the way up there. But this is some nice structure. As long as we hold this level here, this could very, very much ramp up and go for it for that test up here. Just that's the amount of volume is insane. The amount of buy side volume is crazy. You're not seeing this basically at all really on the altcoins. This is got a lot of smart money involved. A lot of smart money involved. So as long as we hold and start to make that move, I mean, you can either play it short term, 1, 2. If you want to hold it for a little bit longer, this is why we say buy on spot, hold on spot, because you can chase those higher time frames because you're not dealing with leverage. And then you mix it in with a little bit of futures, and you just play the futures trades to the short term targets, and play the spot hold to a longer term. But yeah, I mean, the structure is looking pretty good as long as we hold. Nice structure as well. When you're looking at these altcoins, I mean, they're looking like they could very much just go parabolic and just absolutely skyrocket. but you have to take into account where Bitcoin is as well. Okay, so it's a key point. So if Bitcoin makes that move to, well, I mean 28, okay, everything's going to just absolutely explode. Matic, yeah, let's go over Matic. I have been keeping my eyes on Matic, so very, very nice structure. It's one of them that's just continued to push up higher, making a little bit of a pullback back to structure. So you can consider it as a little bit of a healthy correction right now. So again, you want it to hold. I mean, decent amount of sell side coming in on there, so relatively holding well. But as you can see, even on the lower time frame, you're seeing quite a lot of sell side here. Just want it to hold. Again, across the board, things are just going to structure up. If it continues to hold this level and start to see the sellers dying off, seeing some buy side coming in on that lower time frame start to ramp up, then we're looking good. But you want these sellers to start to fade away. So at the moment they're looking pretty hot. But again, by the price action structure, we're holding on to this kind of these levels of support. So it's not quite ready, but yeah. You need those buyers to start to ramp up and pick up some momentum, because at the moment they've died off after this push up here. But yeah, this one's been moving heavily. Let me go on a different chart that can get a little bit more price action on this one. No problem, bro. No problem. Let's have a little look if we can check out some targets. I mean, it's found some sensitivity just beneath. This is quite a high concentration level of orders. A lot of volume at that point that it's going to have to get through. So I'm potentially not seeing too much more. I mean, even buyers aren't crazy in this move. So maybe a little bit more. Another uptick maybe towards 1.6, 1.7. And then we'll have to kind of keep an eye on it if the supply starts to come in hot here. And you're probably looking at a much larger kind of correction, because we've not really had crazy amount of deep corrections on this one. So kind of looking overextended. But even here on this move down, sellers aren't looking crazy. So yeah, you could see the buyers coming in relatively quick and hot. That's exactly what you want to see, and you could get a nice move into that zone. So could be a nice move on the cards, that's for sure.
The subscription service will include a handful of additional perks and features, including account verification badges for those who pay. It'll cost $11.99 a month for web access or $14.99 a month on Apple's iOS operating system and on Android, and is primarily targeted toward content creators. The option will be available on both Facebook and Instagram, and there'll be separate subscriptions. Subscription offerings have become popular.
By the way, thank you for the likes on the stream. I hope you guys are enjoying it. Those that are just joining us now, feel free to message in the chat with any TA that you want us to go through. More than happy to touch base on anything. Now, obviously, we went through some FX. The FX is also setting up structure. We haven't got a crazy amount of data today. So, yeah, we're going to see a little bit of movement, but not a crazy amount. Hi, sir. What is the best risk reward ratio for any trade? Well, you want it to be over 2, okay? But again, it depends what market you're trading. Depends on the sort of trader that you are. Okay, if you're a day trader, if you're a shorter term trader, you want it to be tighter. Okay, but yeah, anything over 2 is what you want to be looking for. But again, depends what market. I mean, crypto, for instance, is extremely volatile. Sometimes you need to set your stop losses a little bit wider. But again, in terms of risk reward ratio, you should relatively be looking for the same risk reward ratio and keeping that consistent as possible. Any idea why IOST has been pumping hard? Let's have a little look. Let's search the internet. And let's have a little look at. Jesus, 40%. Whew. Yeah, it's probably on expectation or something, that's for sure. Let's have a little look. What was the forecast for gold? Yeah, bear with me, I'll go over it again. Let me just check out why the hell this is absolutely skyrocketing. That's an insane move. Mad, mad, mad. Yeah, that's definitely some news or expectation on something. Let's have a little look. I'll go over gold in just a second. Crazy. Crazy pump. Just want to know what reason. There's got to be a reason for that. See if they've got anything on their website. It literally looks like nothing. So from what I can see on IST, yeah. So I couldn't find any justification on the news. Neither can I. What I can see is just. I mean, they've put out a post on their Twitter as well as their Telegram. What is coming next to IOST question mark. So I presume this is literally just the expectation that maybe there's a big announcement on the horizon, and people are just buying that hype. Obviously, I mean, it's bottomed out, so there's going to be naturally some upward pressure anyway. But yeah, from what I can see, there is literally nothing. So yeah, this is probably a pump and dump. Yeah, probably even confined. I mean, it also depends on what the announcement is. If it's something big, then probably we'll get a little bit of a continuation. But if it's nothing major, then yeah, it's coming down. Yeah, crazy move though. So gold, yeah. As mentioned before, nice trend line, rebounded off this uh, level of support. Could potentially get a break. I mean, we have been on a downturn for a bit of time now. Okay, since Feb we topped out. So yeah, if we manage to break through that trend line, then should see a nice move. Roughly about 1865. But yeah, we've got to get through this point here. It was a nice rebound though, but by the looks of it, we're kind of slightly dying off. Not seeing any real sell side, so again, could actually make that move up there, and we could overextend to about 1850, 1852, and then come back into structure. But even on the lower time frames, relatively nice. But yeah, got to hold on to. Got to keep an eye on the structure that's building. It's a nice level of previous support, potentially into new resistance. Got that 200 on the hourly, so it could be just a quick move there. If we breach through that, then yeah, probably looking at moves higher up. If not, then yeah, we're going straight back in. Potentially testing this previous, either this level of support here, maybe this structure. That's a crazy move though. I'm waiting to short. Yeah, see, that's what my expectation too. Because it's literally just hype. There isn't anything substantial. There's nothing even in terms of like a kind of future news or like dates that there's going to be a release or kind of partnership or anything like that. So yeah. But yeah, stuff like this, especially with crypto, any news that's positive news, you get the pump before, and then on the release, it just sells off. Okay, it's just kind of what happens, unless it's something materially worth kind of changing sentiment. Even something like, okay, I'll partner up with a big company. You'll get the initial pump and then it just goes straight back into structure. So stuff like that, it's just hype, and then we just move straight back in. But yeah, I can't see anything, so I wouldn't be too crazy. Moves missed out on. So yeah, it's more checking out for a short. Oh, oil was going for it. Yeah, we'll check out how things kind of hold up here on oil. I mean, it's coming up to previous support, potentially new resistance. If we break above it, then yeah, we'll see if we can get in on a little bit of a pullback and just chase those higher targets. But yeah, oil is always a very nice asset to kind of make some money on. So we're about 13 minutes away from the New York Open. So let's see what we can get, yeah. But yeah, I mean, by the looks of it, we're just literally just ranging. Just a nice test of this. Well, we can get rid of this now. what we can do is put a little bit. So it came down. Nice test of liquidity previous structure here. That's kind of your bottom of your range that we're potentially building up to. Okay, so we tested once, twice, 3 times, going for that 4th test. Now, if we reject it, okay, we could get a little bit of a move, start seeing supply. We're going to come straight back in. Okay, so if that's the case, then yeah, we'll start looking at some shorts or some quick shorts anyway. But I mean, even the sell side's not really there, but neither is the buy side. I mean, look at this. So yeah, structure isn't the nicest of structure to be playing around with. Move that camera. Could potentially see a nice long, yeah. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Could get a nice, quick, very quick long position here on gold. Just need to be careful. So we're holding at 100, which is nice. Should literally just play it to the top there. Alright, let's do it. Alright, we're going to go in long on gold. Da, 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 da. Just be careful. Don't go too wild. $18.52. Nope. Ba, ba, ba. See if we can get an ideally. Alright, let's see what we can get, yeah.
And those comments were in response to a question about the judiciary's stance on national security policy. His words were prescient in the context of our next story. With technology seeping into every walk of life, an increasing proportion of high court decisions require at least a basic literacy in subjects that may not come naturally to its aging members. So writes Bloomberg's Greg Stohr in the technology section of the current double issue of the magazine. Greg is Supreme Court reporter here at Bloomberg News. He joined me, Madison Mills, and Bloomberg Business Week editor Joel Weber on the question of whether our justices fully understand the complex technical issues that they are legislating.
Well, that's what Greg came to us with, and this is just one of those ones where he really picked up the phone. He was very excited. He was like, Joel, I've got to talk to you about this idea. And it turns out that this is not a completely new idea, but it's really relevant right now because of the case.
See if we can get a move.
Which will basically focus on Section 230 and what that means for the future of the internet. So rewind the clock a little bit for us, Greg. What happens when Elena Kagan and Stephen Breyer sit down and play Grand Theft Auto like they did about a decade ago?
Can we just soak in that moment for a second? Go ahead.
Yeah, I wish I could have been a fly on the wall for that one. This is a case about a decade ago. It was a California law that banned the sale of violent video games to minors, and so Justice.
All right, 6 minutes away from this New York open.
A whole lot about violent video games, so we're going to check them out.
Mm-hmm.
They had it set up in Justice Breyer's chambers and went down there and played Grand Theft Auto to try to learn a little bit about it. And as it turns out, according to Justice Kagan, she was a lot more enthusiastic about it than he was. He thought it was really awful and disgusting, and she was like, next round.
Oh,
She's younger.
We have more reporting to do on Kagan's video game obsession if it became that, including maybe what console she's into. But to keep it back on the Supreme Court, we're obviously Breyer's not going to be on the bench when they hear this case next week. But what do they have to do in order to get ready for a big case like the one they're going to hear when maybe they don't have as much expertise as people in the industry might?
Well, the short answer is that they do a lot of research with a lot of help from people around the court. All of them have 20-something or generally 20-something law clerks who can help them out. They've also got a whole courthouse full of people. So there was a case back in the late 1990s having to do with restrictions on posting adult-oriented material in a way that children might see them. And so that was back before the court was really connected to the internet. And so they set up a computer in the library where justices and their clerks would go there and put in searches to see if pornography popped up or something like that.
Oh God.
In a more recent case, I actually talked to Justice Breyer. I interviewed him last week, and he said this was a copyright case involving Google and Oracle, and he said he just spent a lot of time trying to understand the Java programming language and how it worked, because that was central to the case, whether Google infringed Oracle's copyright, and spent a lot of time. He has a very lengthy explanation in his opinion, siding with Google, that for the most part was pretty well received in terms of understanding the technology at issue in the case.
I would love to be on the fly on the wall when they try to teach lawmakers about TikTok and the importance of that moving forward.
So there's this thing called an app.
You gotta open it and spend about 5 hours a day on it. But in all seriousness, Greg, to be fair to SCOTUS, this is an issue that plagues a lot of lawmakers. We always hear these funny sound bites from members of Congress too, when they're, in a social media hearing, a crypto hearing, for example. We remember Dogecoin from the FTX hearing.
The internet runs on tubes, Madison.
Yes, exactly. So how does SCOTUS compare to Congress when it comes to understanding the internet?
Yes, that's a good question, Madison. There are certainly some examples of the Supreme Court saying similar type things, maybe not quite as bad as the internet being a collection of tubes, but over the years the Supreme Court has asked some questions during arguments that suggest they may not understand the technology. But I think there are a couple of important points. One, the court has gotten younger, so you have more justices who are in their 50s rather than in their 70s and 80s, who maybe understand the technology a little better. They have kids as well. And
All right, 3 minutes out.
the justices, for the most part, when I talk to people, actually almost entirely, when I talk to people, they said, despite some occasionally confused-sounding questions, the court generally does a pretty good job by the end of the day when it puts out the really important thing, which are its opinions. And And no doubt that does get some help from the law clerks and maybe understand the technology better. But for the most part, the court, based on the people
It's gonna be very, very, very quick trades today. Just not getting much volume, much momentum either way.
Yeah, so as you mentioned, this is an argument they're going to have on a Tuesday of next week. Tuesday and a somewhat less important case on Wednesday. The Tuesday case is all about this thing called Section 230, which has been around since 1996. It basically shields social media companies, other internet companies from liability because of posts put up by their users, by third parties. And that is basically sort of as a
Such awkward structure to be playing to as well.
the case involving a lawsuit filed the family of a terrorism victim saying Google, through its YouTube service, basically recommended terrorist content, terrorist
Latest, thanks, bro. Thank you very much for joining, my man. Take care of yourself.
and the question is whether that lawsuit can be
Nice double top here. Could potentially see a nice short. I'm gonna take it. OP, let's go. Let's have it.
that there will be no stopping that and that will force us to be a lot more restrictive about the content that our members, our users can put up on the internet because we're worried about being sued over it.
Okay, so and what does industry have to say about this? And this won't be the only 230 case that they hear, right?
Ba,
So
ba,
they have
ba.
on Tuesday. As I said, there's a second case on Wednesday involving Twitter, and it's actually kind of a related question about whether the family of a terrorist victim can sue under this law that's called the Anti-Terrorism Act. The industry is basically saying this case has the potential to really transform the internet and not in a good way. It will force us to
Yeah. So that's
answers to a large
yeah, that's what we covered this morning. Yeah, US on holiday, Canada on holiday. So yeah, it's understandable.
because it could be a lot more precise
It's just not ideal.
instrument of a Supreme Court opinion.
That was Bloomberg News Supreme Court reporter Greg Stewart, along with, once again, the editor of Bloomberg Business Week, Joel Weber. Madison Mills sticking around for our next segment. Still ahead on Bloomberg Business Week, despite Tesla's bullish start to 2023, one longtime Tesla fan and investor remains dissatisfied with the company's leadership and direction under its always busy CEO.
Elon is clearly running Twitter here, and that's his priority, which is fine. But if something ever happened to Elon, I mean, he is working, like 20 hours a day. What's the plan for Tesla? So these things don't seem to be answered from Tesla, and so now I'm pushing for board
Mhm.
for there to be some accountability to these issues.
So what's Gerber Kawasaki CEO Ross Gerber to do? He's set his sights on a board seat. That's coming up next. This is Bloomberg.
Can't catch us live? Your favorite Bloomberg radio shows, including Bloomberg Surveillance, Wall Street Week, and
See what we can get.
are also available as podcasts. Listen today on Apple, Spotify, anywhere else you get your podcasts. I'm Scott Carr from the Bloomberg Newsroom. Good morning. Asian shares have started the week higher with a tailwind from U.S. stocks closing at the highest in a month as easing inflation expectations have fueled January's global share rally. Last week saw an up and down pattern for U.S. stocks ending in a virtual draw. Equities have climbed in Australia, South Korea, Hong Kong, and mainland China, while Japan's painted a different picture with stocks opening lower as the yen's rebound continued to weigh on The Nikkei in Japan closed higher in Monday's trading by 0.07. The Hang Seng in Hong Kong higher by 0.8%. China's CSI 300 closed higher by 2.45%, while Brent crude is up by nearly 0.6%. The dollar edged higher in overseas trading today, adding to a third week of gains as hawkish comments by Federal Reserve officials and geopolitical tensions bolstered the appeal of the greenback. Equities painted a mixed picture, with a gauge of Asian stocks little changed amid declines in Hong Kong, a small advance in mainland China. U.S. futures
And a little bit of buy side reaction.
100 index
See if it can reject. Not crazy.
coming week, the biggest U.S. retailers are about to grab the earnings spotlight, from Home Depot to Walmart. We get more from Bloomberg's Susanna Palmer.
The results this week will provide investors with crucial insight into consumer demand, the path of economic growth, and corporate America's profitability. The group doesn't have nearly the influence of big tech in terms of sway over the broader market, but the companies will be closely watched as consumer discretionary shares are the year's top performing cohort in the S&P 500 index. This after getting battered in 2022 on rising inflation and swollen inventories. Susanna Palmer, Bloomberg Radio.
In other news, sources tell Bloomberg BMC Software, a technology company owned by KKR, has confidentially filed for an initial public offering. We get more from Bloomberg's Charlie Pellet.
Scott, those sources say the company, which could be valued at $14 to $15 billion, has tapped Goldman Sachs as lead underwriter. They say an IPO could occur later this year if the market for new listings rebounds, so it's possible that BMC could pursue other options, such as a sale. KKR acquired the Houston-based company in 2018 for $8.3 billion, including debt. In 2020, BMC acquired CompuWare for $1.5 billion. Scott?
North Korea's fired a barrage of suspected ballistic missiles, issuing a warning to the U.S. over joint military exercises less than 2 days after Pyongyang launched a long-range rocket designed to hit the American mainland. South Korea's Joint Chief of Staff has said North Korea fired 2 short-range ballistic missiles early this morning. Global news powered by more than 2,700 journalists and analysts in over 120 countries. I'm Scott Carr, and this is Bloomberg.
Bloomberg Radio, on demand and in your podcast feed.
On the latest edition of the Tape Podcast, a conversation with Omar Aguilar at Schwab Asset Management. What do you do at Schwab Asset Management about the sort of newer or alternative asset classes that retail investors are just starting to dip their toes into?
It's going to be relatively slow movement.
This happens all the time, and we have had significant amount of interest, and this happens in many cases. You may recall not too long ago the discussion about meme stocks and what people can use that information to invest, and how they can use several information. The good news is that we attract a lot of investors to start being interested in investing. I think our challenge and our goal and mission continues to be to educate clients on how to think about
which direction is gold likely to take? Well, at this moment in time, I mean, obviously we're at resistance, and we've got this trend line to break through. Now, it's got a little bit more room for potential push up high, and we're holding on to this structure here. So as long as we continue to hold, we can see a little bit of a kind of test of a break here. So just holding on to a little bit of structure. So hopefully we can. If not, if we come down to about 1842, then you're probably looking at a bit of a move. So downsides happening some, or in search for liquidity lower down. But current structure, I mean, on the 1 hour is all right. Saw a nice reaction off that 100. So yeah, we'll see. This is not looking fantastic.
With more than $118 billion in assets under management, we offer an array of tailored investment strategies, including equity,
Holding on to this. Oh, what the hell was that?
as well as domestic and offshore mutual funds. Independent since 1983, Payne & Briggle is committed to providing customized investment management solutions focused on achieving our clients' financial objectives. Learn more at Payden.com.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting a Teenager. Learning the lingo.
Jelly,
Jelly adjective. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same. Visit adoptuskids.org, brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Whether you're an in-house counsel or in private practice, Bloomberg Law
Alright, see if we can get some sellers here.
latest in AI-powered legal analytics, business insights, and workflow tools. With guidance from our experts, you'll grasp the latest trends in the legal industry, helping you achieve better results for the practice of law, the business of law, the future of law.
Terrible structure.
Your business landscape is ever-changing.
There could be a lot more selling to come.
Ours is too.
Just getting some headlines I want to bring to our audience.
We also have the unknown of how much can financial assets take.
We have something else in common.
See whether we can hold at this level.
We seek out the latest business news wherever.
If so, should see a nice move.
The U.S. beaches also pointed to the downside.
Bloomberg Radio, the Bloomberg Business app, and BloombergRadio.com. Bloomberg.
I mean, this is at resistance as well.
No company wants to be involved in an international dispute, but when disagreements arise, you need expertise at your side. Take a closer look at ICDR, the International Center for Dispute Resolution, backed by the longevity and strength of the American Arbitration Association. The ICDR is the world's leading provider of cross-border dispute resolution services, handling more cases than any other institution. Find out why global expertise matters. Visit ICDR.org.
In the 1980s and 90s, John McAfee was a Silicon Valley icon. But after he sold his company and basked in his riches, things took a dark turn.
Allow them to imprison me and shut my voice down.
It's horrible.
This season on Foundering, we'll retrace the life of John McAfee. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Broadcasting from the financial capital of the world, Bloomberg 1130 in New York. To Washington, D.C., Bloomberg 99.1. To Boston, Bloomberg 1061. To San Francisco, Bloomberg 960. To the country, Sirius XM Channel 119. And around the globe, the Bloomberg Business app and BloombergRadio.com. This is Bloomberg Business Week with Carol Messer and Tim Stenevec from Bloomberg Radio.
You might recall earlier this month, Ross Gerber, a vocal Tesla shareholder, a Tesla car owner, and frequent guest on our air, saying he will pursue a board seat on the electric vehicle maker's board. At the time, he also said that, quote, it's time for Tesla to grow up. Gerber's firm held around 440,000 Tesla shares as of the end of last year.
Right, we're closing that OP trade.
Gerber Kawasaki Wealth and Investment Management that's facing within his firm's advisor shares Kawasaki ETF, with the CPI representing about 10%. Bloomberg Quick Takes Madison Mills, and I asked Ross
Just
if he wants to
horrible.
Well, I think most I feel like it's time for Tesla's board to sort of take a more active role in some of the main issues that involve Tesla, which seem to be sort of ignored. And a lot of founder-led companies grow to be very, very successful, and then they reach a point like where Tesla has, where certain things just need to change. And I don't think these are, bad things. I think it's a good thing for Tesla to focus on, really three main things that, I'm most concerned about, which is, public relations, marketing, and lobbying, so that things like full self-driving, appropriately understood by the public. Secondly, I'd love to see Tesla focus on the customer. The consumer is constantly having bad experiences with Tesla service, and I just think somebody needs to really be focused on the customer over at Tesla. And then thirdly, a secession plan. Elon is clearly running Twitter here, and that's his priority, which is fine. But if something ever happened to Elon, he is working, like 20 hours a day. What's the plan for Tesla? So these things don't seem to be answered from Tesla, and so now I'm pushing for a board seat because I think it's time for there to be some accountability to these issues.
So Ross, you mentioned the PR situation when it comes to Tesla. To what extent are you concerned about Elon
Well, I think that, for a long time we got a lot of free advertising out of Elon, and there was a perception of Elon that was much more positive today now that Elon runs Twitter and has taken many political positions. And I think it's his right to do that, but it's certainly unfortunate how many customers and shareholders here, at least that I know, and which are a lot, that really have now taken a negative view towards Elon, and it's really kind of sad to me. And the bottom line is it's time for Tesla to build its brand around Tesla and about, the values that Tesla really stands for and versus what Elon's values are. And so I think Tesla could take an active role in shaping the public's perception of its wonderful products and services.
Hey, listen, our reporting by our Ed Ludlow and Caroline Hyde noted how you have a good relationship with some of the biggest shareholders in Tesla, someone who I've talked to a lot, Kathy Wood of ARK Investment, and also Bailey Gifford. Have they said that they would support you in your pursuit of a seat?
Well, I haven't talked to any of the institutions yet because I haven't, I'm still officially got to send out my letter and get this going.
But you will do that.
Right now.
You will do
yeah,
that.
I will definitely be doing that, and we're certainly.
This is looking okay.
As I'm running, it's just so that there is an option for people. I'm not like doing this.
Alright, let's go for that.
Personal gain. Let me tell you, it's a very time-consuming process, and most of my clients and friends, are sort of like, we want you focusing on our money, not running Tesla or dealing with Tesla. And that said, I feel choice for individual investors, so that they actually even know somebody on the board. A lot of people are like, oh, we support Tesla's board currently. I'm like, do you even know who's on the board? And they're like, no.
Would you like to see, there's another person, Elon's obviously on the board, but Kimball Musk is also on the board. Would you like to, do you think it is just a board of people who really like Elon? And there needs to be changes?
I do. And granted, I really like Elon too, so I'm not a negative person here. This is a friendly activist. I'm trying to help Tesla in a way that they're not good at. Okay? So they're, I'm a marketing PR and I think I could help the company dramatically. And I've been doing it for a long time.
Could get a nice shot, maybe.
Behind the scenes, I've been, advising them for years and years and years about the way they handle many different elements of their marketing and PR. And that said, they've implemented a lot of these things over the years, and it's been very successful. And I think at this point, Tesla is now a $600 billion company, and things like, there was an anti-Tesla ad that was run during the Super Bowl, and how that even happened is mind-blowing to me. And then there was no counter to that. And if you look at the headlines, they're just very misleading, and it becomes very tiring.
Well, Ross, I know you mentioned that you are a fan of Tesla, of course, but you would be referred to as a dissident shareholder if this went through and management did not support your efforts, which is interesting here. I wonder, have you spoken to Elon?
No, the last time we spoke was on a Twitter Spaces in December, where I addressed many of the issues that I had, and he addressed them back in a way that I was pretty happy with. But, we still don't have a CEO of Twitter.
All right, perfect. I'm going to leave it there. Yeah, let's see how things kind of develop on things. We'll come back again later on, but yeah, there really isn't a great deal to capitalize on today. So yeah, we'll keep an eye on structure. I think mainly today is just going to be checking out just everything and just getting some bits into the pipeline to then go again when we actually get some movement. So yeah, but apart from that, guys, thank you very much for joining me today. It's an absolute pleasure. And yeah, we'll touch base with you all later on. But yeah, thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your day. Cheers.